Welcome to this lunchtime broadcast, which highlights the news making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. Here are the news headlines. Hunger and poverty reportedly a key catalyst in the deaths of 13 members of a Kavango East family. Rundu residents reflect on Nampower plans to suspend electricity supply of defaulting local authorities. And Lifeline International Africa Region member forum currently underway. Follow all our programs on oneup2.com, DSTV 285 and GoTV 25 in Namibia. I am Ashwin Berry and this is NMH at 1. In the midday news update, a Ukrainian drone sparked a fire at an oil refinery in southern Russia, and shelling hit a Russian town close to the border for the third time in a week, damaging buildings and setting vehicles ablaze, Russian officials said on Wednesday. A day after Russia accused Ukraine of sending drones to attack buildings in Moscow, the governor of Russia's Krasnodar region said a drone was the likely cause of a fire that broke out at the Apsky oil refinery. Now, the fire was soon extinguished and there were no casualties, Governor Benjamin Kondratyev said on a Telegram messaging app. Visual News brings you local stories from across Namibia right after the break.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Talk.
Is die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik gaan byt.
Heading into visual news, Rundu resident Pauli Titus reflects on the news that Nampower plans to suspend the supply of electricity to defaulting local authorities and electricity distributors. He said that as a consumer of electricity, it is unfair for him to be being a prepaid customer to be affected in such a manner.
It's going to affect me negatively as a resident, because I know that I am fully paying for the services that is being rendered to me. So why should I be affected when I'm not a defaulter? So in a way, it is not fair. This situation is only supposed to affect those that are defaulting. But residents that live on electricity, you must remember, electricity is life. Electricity is a need. People need electricity to survive. People need electricity to eat. People need, even the hospitals and so forth, including other important services, need electricity. The agriculture sector needs electricity so that the pumps can keep on going, so that the machinery can continue running. So if you cut this, then you're basically cutting off life. It's as good as committing suicide. So it is not a good situation, not an ideal for now. I think Nampower was supposed to come up with a mechanism with the various defaulters to find a way on how to solve this situation, rather than just deciding abruptly, which is going to affect the innocent consumers.
The Lifeline International Africa Region member forum is currently underway at Lifeline Childline Namibia in Windhoek, and this is the first time the forum is taking place in Namibia. The forum will see delegates from the different Lifeline member countries. Chairman of Lifeline Childline Namibia, Webster Gonzo, welcomed the different delegates to the forum.
Joy that I stand before you today as we gather here in this beautiful land of the brave, Namibia, for the Lifeline International Africa Region Member Forum meeting. On behalf of the organizing committee and Lifeline Childline Namibia, I extend a hearty and a warm welcome to a somewhat chilly Windhoek, Namibia, to each and every single one of you. Namibia is well known for its sunshine. You will see that we actually have the sun on our flag, because we actually believe that we owe the sun to the rest of the world. This is one of the warmest places it is in Namibia, in Africa, and in the world, as a matter of fact. One of the best places to do your stargazing. Those of you who want to be able to come and do your stargazing. I believe NASA has actually got some of its telescopes in our beautiful land for that reason. Beautiful land that we have, flora and fauna. Those of you who want to stick around for a little bit longer, please help yourself to a Windhoek lager later on in the evening. Tafel lager is also good. We are well known for our beer. That's one aspect. But we are equally well known as one of the best fishing countries in the world. Perhaps we are the fourth most important fishing country in the world. So our fish is fantastic. Try it. And then, of course, do not pass by the beef, because we have the world's best beef. I know my brother from Botswana might argue, but because we are geographically next to each other, we would like to say we have got the best beef together with Botswana. And of course, the mutton and the lamb is equally fantastic, also world renowned. Why am I telling you? Because you're an international guest, you need to be able to know what it is that you can be able to treat your palates to later on. I believe we've got a braai later on to officially welcome you to Namibia. So I'm just telling you some of our own delicacies. Maybe you can pass by the Kapana stands. Just speak to a Namibian, they'll tell you what Kapana is all about. As the board chairperson, I would like to announce that I've been involved in Lifeline for many years. I've already told you, since 1996, as the organization was itself in Namibia was established in 1980. And they provide counseling, social, behavioral change interventions, and capacity building in systemic preventative and responsive ways, such as suicide programs. I've been speaking about that with my brother from Ghana this morning. Yes, you can clap if you want. You're allowed to do that. For improved well-being of all children, families, communities in our country. We take this mandate extremely seriously in Namibia, because, as I said to you, we are the foremost organization, and that brings with it great many responsibilities. Even in terms of data, national data, our ministries also depend on our own data as well. And that is also thanks to some of the support we've been receiving internationally as well. The vision of Lifeline Childline Namibia is to have safe, healthier and more resilient children, families and communities. I believe this is the same vision everywhere in the whole world.
Hunger and poverty were reportedly key catalysts in the deaths of 13 members of a Kavango East family. The details follow after the break in the newspaper review.
Good evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Dutch Ministers list in a speech, rate and taxes, and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
economic indicators, tomorrow's weather and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyong.
Let's head into the newspaper review. Hunger and poverty were reportedly key catalysts in the deaths of 13 members of a Kavango East family. The family ate suspected poisoned food, having earlier in the day traded reeds for grains so that they could secure a meal. A Namibian Sun visit at Kayova village yesterday established that the family, which consists of 22 members in total, was in desperate need of food. The family is comprised of 4 households situated close to one another, where none of the members are employed. The deaths are linked to mahangu grains the family got after collecting reeds and trading them. On to page 3, a 5-phase upgrade to the Etosha National Park's road infrastructure cost the tourism industry $136 million Namibian dollars. This was announced by the ministry's Director of Planning and Technical Services, Boas Erki. Now, he shared these figures after Minister Pohamba Shifeta joined park rangers for the dehorning of 2 black rhinos last week. The construction on tourist roads started in February 2019 and was set to be completed earlier this month. The 3 dams that supply Windhoek with water have a combined level of 36.1%. This is according to the national water supplier Namwater CEO Abraham Nehemiah, as reported in today's Republican. Windhoek's water comes from the Omatako, Vonbach and Swakoport dams, and this year's dam levels are significantly lower compared to last year's 59.2% due to lower rainfall, he said. According to him, there is no cause for concern as stakeholders met on Monday and agreed on interventions. The municipality of Windhoek will deliver 8.5 million cubic meters per year from its boreholes, and the Windhoek water recycling plant 5.84 million cubic meters per year. The Namibia Correctional Service has denied that opposition figure Michael Sadama Mshelelo is being kept in solitary confinement and insists he is only kept in a single cell for his own safety, reports Republican. Mshelelo's wife Julieta yesterday insisted in a social media post that the Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters Commissar, who has been in custody since 21 March, is being detained in solitary confinement in the Windhoek Correctional Facility. The Algemene Zeitung today leads on its front page with an article about the Namibian Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, which in order to counter the growing rhino poaching has announced that 600 rhinos will be dehorned within the next 12 months. The minister himself made a start last week, and the fact that this initiative is noticed is proven by the fact that even the Voice of America news portal, the largest U.S. international broadcaster among others, reports about this. On page 3 of today's Algemene Zeitung, you will find an article about the mobile phone operator MTC, which seems bent on defying the directive issued by the Communications Control Authority of Namibia last Friday. According to that directive, the collection of biometric data is no longer required when registering SIM cards for mobile phones. MTC continues to oblige its customers to release their data protection in order to remain as a customer. This begs the question whether consumers remain bound to service agreements, which MTC seems to unilaterally change without basis in law. Stay with us as we continue with the Namibian newspaper after the break.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term,
as well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Let's continue with the Namibian in our newspaper review. Several proposals for new regulations to cushion home loan holders against repossession by commercial banks are currently awaiting approval from the Attorney General Festus Mbandeka. As with this, the proposal will reach the Parliament, Justice Ministry Executive Director Gladys Pickering has confirmed. The government has obtained land to construct a desalination plant in the Namib Desert. This was confirmed by Namwater Chief Executive Officer Abraham Nehemiah yesterday. Now, Nehemiah said the government is in the process of building a desalination plant through Namwater to secure water supply at the Central Coast and in central Namibia. The Erongo Regional Council has donated the land for the plant adjacent to the existing Orano Mining Namibia, previously known as Arriva Resources Namibia. According to New Era's front page, by the end of 2022, an account named Children of the Liberation Struggle, resorting under the Prime Minister's office, had a balance of 13 million Namibian dollars, all while Children of the Liberation Struggle were knocking on government's door, pleading for economic opportunities. The account is one of 8 others that the Office of the Prime Minister kept and operated during the 2021-2022 financial year. Now, this is according to a report by Auditor General Junius Kanjeke. A 28-year-old woman was allegedly arrested for being in possession of cooked and wild bird meat at Casablanca Shabin Center in Oshivelo, Oshikoto region. The total value of the birds is 112,800 Namibian dollars, and according to the Oshikoto police, the suspect was found in possession of guinea fowl 33 francolins and 9 doves without a permit after an intelligence-driven operation. The suspect is out on 5,000 Namibian dollars bail after appearing in the Tsumeb Magistrates Court. For the first quarter of 2022, the producer prices index for the electric power generation, transmission and distribution slowed to 110.2 basis points as opposed to 111 basis points registered in the same quarter of 2022, according to the Namibia Statistics Agency. This translated in a deflation of 0.8% year-on-year in the first quarter of 2023 compared to an increase of 3.4% recorded in the same quarter of 2022. The producer price index measures the average changes in the prices of goods and services received by domestic producers for the output which is sold on the domestic market as well as the export market. Now, Finance Minister Ipumbu Shimi has granted significant procurement exemptions to public entities for projects funded by German development bank KfW. This story leads us into economic news.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
In economic news, Finance Minister Ipumbu Shimi has granted significant procurement exemptions to public entities for projects funded by German development bank KfW. In a recent directive aimed at streamlining procurement processes, he emphasized adherence to the Public Procurement Act while providing greater autonomy to existing and future KfW-funded projects. Under the terms outlined in the directive, public entities currently implementing projects financed by the German bank will have the authority to conduct procurement activities internally. This means they will no longer be required to undergo the scrutiny of the Central Procurement Board of Namibia when the procurement exceeds prescribed thresholds. This move is aimed at expediting processes and reducing bureaucratic hurdles for ongoing KfW projects, he said. However, for forthcoming financing agreements entered into after 23 May, all procurements exceeding the prescribed thresholds for the public entities will be subject to the oversight of the CPBN in accordance with the Act. Let's head into the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 19.71 next to the US dollar, whilst 24.35 Namibian dollars can get you 1 British pound, with 2.77 getting you 1 Chinese yuan. Most stocks maintained their value, however, MTC took a dip of 0.30%. Local and overall indexes closed 0.04% down and 1.88%. Looking at commodities, gold and Brent crude oil made some downturns, whilst copper and zinc made upticks of 0.49% and 0.17% respectively. South Africa plans to change its law so that it has the power to decide whether or not to arrest a leader wanted by the International Criminal Court. More on this after the break.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there.
Let's get into news from Africa. South Africa plans to change its law so that it has the power to decide whether or not to arrest a leader wanted by the International Criminal Court. A deputy minister has told BBC Obed Bapela's remarks come amid intense speculation over whether South Africa stands by its invitation to Russia's President Putin to visit in August. The ICC has issued an arrest warrant for Mr. Putin over the Ukraine war. South Africa had earlier invited him to attend a summit of BRICS leaders. Russia has not said whether Mr. Putin plans to attend the summit. Meanwhile, Pretoria has also granted diplomatic immunity to Russian officials attending, something that its Foreign Affairs Department described as standard procedure. BRICS is intended to strengthen ties between the nations that make it up: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Under its current laws, South Africa is obliged to arrest Mr. Putin if he arrives on its shores, as it is a member of the ICC. Sudanese officials say the army has suspended ceasefire talks with the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, accusing the group of repeatedly violating previous truce agreements. The army took the decision because the rebels have never implemented a single one of the provisions of a short-term ceasefire, which required their withdrawal from hospitals and residential buildings, and have repeatedly violated the truce. A government official speaking on condition of anonymity has told the AFP news agency. A Sudanese diplomatic source also informed the Reuters news agency about the army's withdrawal from the fragile ceasefire talks, which are aimed at enabling humanitarian access. On Monday, mediators from the United States and Saudi Arabia said the army and the RSF had agreed to extend a humanitarian ceasefire by 5 days. However, fighting continued in several parts of Sudan, including the capital Khartoum, where the RSF said its positions had come under attack. We'll be heading into international news, starting with Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump said on Tuesday that if elected president again in 2024, he would seek to end automatic citizenship for children born in the United States to immigrants in the country illegally, a plan that contradicts how a 19th century amendment to the U.S. Constitution long has been interpreted. Trump, the frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination in an increasingly crowded field of candidates, said in a campaign video posted to Twitter that he would issue an executive order instructing federal agencies to stop what is known as birthright citizenship. We'll be looking at the latest announcement from the Namibia Football Association as we head into local sports after the break.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
The Namibia Football Association has announced that Mabos Freeze will temporarily assume the role of NFA's Secretariat head for a few days, as the current acting Secretary General Jochen Traut has been granted leave. The NFA's Normalization Committee announced this in a statement issued on the 29th of May. Johannes Mabos Freeze has been appointed in an acting capacity in this position for this period. Kindly accord him the necessary support during this time, Chairman of the committee, Baizi Urab, wrote. The 8th annual UIS Fly-In, organized by Lisama Light Sport and Amateur-Built Aircraft Association of Namibia, captivated aviation enthusiasts and locals in the picturesque town of UIS in the Namibia's Erongo region. This highly anticipated event was hosted from the 24th to the 28th of May. Pilots, aviation friends, and their families arrived with a total of 28 aircraft, showcasing the thrill of flight and the strong sense of community. Dr. Henk Costa, an accomplished rally and precision pilot, has organized a number of events, including this one. A total of 15 pilots competed in the activities, which included pylon skill testing, a spot landing exercise, and a navigation speed test. To no one's surprise, Pep Guardiola was named the League Managers Association Premier League Manager of the Year. We'll be looking into that as we head into international sport.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Pep Guardiola was named the League Managers Association and Premier League Manager of the Year on Tuesday after guiding Manchester City to the Premier League title. Guardiola led City to their 5th league crown in 6 seasons, and the club are set to face Manchester United in the FA Cup final on Saturday and Inter Milan in the Champions League final a week later. Guardiola saw off competition from Arsenal's Mikel Arteta, Brighton and Hove Albion's Roberto De Zerbi, Newcastle United's Eddie Howe, amongst other coaches, to win the LMA award. Racist behavior directed at athletes is getting worse, and even software designed to protect them from it has little impact, world number 30 Sloane Stephens said on Monday. The American, speaking after her straight sets victory over Karolina Pliskova in the French Open first round, said she had to endure it her whole tennis career. It has never stopped. If anything, it's only gotten worse. She did not go into specific details, but said even software such as the one available for players at the French Open, which is designed to block racist comments, could not stop it. India's top wrestlers were talked out of their plans to toss their medals into the river Ganges on Tuesday as part of their ongoing demand to arrest their federation chief over sexual harassment allegations. The athletes had been camping in New Delhi since April 23, demanding action against Wrestling Federation of India President Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who has denied allegations of sexually harassing female athletes. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Let's head into the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast. South Africa plans to change its law so that it has the power to decide whether or not to arrest a leader wanted by the International Criminal Court, a deputy minister has told the BBC. Donald Trump said on Tuesday that if elected president again in 2024, he would seek to end automatic citizenship for children born in the United States to immigrants in the country illegally, a plan that contradicts how a 19th century amendment to the U.S. Constitution long has been interpreted. And Pep Guardiola was named the League Managers Association and Premier League Manager of the Year on Tuesday after guiding Manchester City to the Premier League title. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa and the world, ranging from current affairs to economic news, sports and international headlines. It's goodbye from us in studio.